Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Atar.
Hi, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, inner work life coach and inventor of the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. I want to talk to you a little bit about this Virgo Libra full moon. It is a super moon occurring on the 20th. It's a build up. It's a huge build up. If you remember the new moon, Great Mother came through and she said that it was balsamic moon energy, and to kind of sit on that energy, let what needs to be downloaded, the opportunity to be downloaded for this entire lunar cycle, including this full moon, which is climatic in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. Great Mother is not limited or confined to human convention. And we have some very ancient traditions that say every new moon is a new seed. However, based on the astrology, the energies are shifting so that this transition into what is traditionally a new year is really more than that. It's a new phase of regrounded soul inscription on the planet. It's really that deep. Now, those of you who may not know, Great Mother is the Holy Spirit, the still small voice, our intuition, the part of us, that yin energy, that primal yin energy that is spirit, and it is soul as we know it vibrationally from this ego body. We use the Vedic astrology here with Great Mother Speaks and in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that uses chakras to align with that soul energy. And so that's why it is indeed a Virgo Libra moon. It's Virgo in the sidereal, in the nakshatra of Uttara Phalguni, which is about relationships, which is about connecting, which is about devotion, a very devotional energy to a fault, in fact. But the Libra energy is what I want you to really be aware of at this particular time, as in the Western astrology, this ancient tradition through that astrology has to do with the seeding. I want you to get something really straight about this. And it's really important because in that new moon reading, I also said that moving forward with these readings, I'm going to be more specific with regard to your lunar sign and where it is in terms of its healing of mama drama trauma, which is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma in cases where she's unable, unavailable, unwilling to heal her own MDT, because it is a cycle. Loving detachment is required, and that is my area of specialization. I am an inner life coach that works with these inner emotional issues to release the emotions of shame, blame, and guilt, which perpetuate this cycle. This is actually conditioned to and through us as we incubate in our mother's womb and as she raises us with the same type of conditioning framework of MDT. To let you know how this deck came about through my inner work, I could not sustain clientele based on my own personal story of healing MDT. I had to get in touch with Great Mother and ask for a tool to assist people coming from various backgrounds and various experiences with mama drama trauma. You want to know more about it? Look at the links below, the definitions of MDT, the telltale signs of MDT, to see whether or not you have it. But for those of you who are subscribers and that have been working with me over a period of time, you know that this emotional energy is what has to be released, because that is what is associated with the mother and how we regard our relationship with our mother, as opposed to understanding it's a soul relationship. In the soul astrology, we have just left the Cancer North Node, Capricorn South Node, and now we're in Sagittarius South Node, Gemini North Node. That means for the prior 2.5 years on a soul level, the planet has been addressing issues of our old way of developing our maternal relationships. Our maternal relationships have to do with our feelings of belonging. And specifically here, what Great Mother is speaking to us about is not only just the home or with the mother, but it has to do with, from that conditioning, that maternal conditioning, how we develop our boundaries in our relationships. And boundaries are important because they let ourselves, first and foremost, be clear about who we are, what's important to us, what's okay, what's not okay, what we like, what we don't like, so that we can communicate those things clearly to others. When we don't communicate those things clearly to others, people don't trust us, and we don't trust ourselves to make good decisions. So it's really important that those boundaries are associated with an understanding of what those original maternal relationships are about. That feeling like you belong. Now, if you don't feel like you belong, and you know that you have mama drama trauma, that's where Great Mother comes in, because it's not about the emotional connection to our birth mother that connects us to the healing process of releasing shame, blame, and guilt. It's connecting to Great Mother, the mother of all mothers, that yin energy within. So you'll see that through your Vedic sign, which is always mentioned before your Western sign, in 24 degrees in precession to it, in fact, that is where your soul is downloading information from energetically. So for example, on this full moon, energetically, we are all, through the collective consciousness, getting downloads from Virgo energy. This energy that's reorganizing, that's specifying, that's inquiring about exactly what is going on with regard to what we're committing ourselves to, what we feel is worthy of our devotion, and what we want to work towards in terms of our responsibilities, in terms of our accountability, what it is in life that is worth our being accountable for and being accountable to. And typically, for most human beings, it is in our relationships to one another. What keeps us committed, what keeps us grounded, what keeps us responsible is that we like it. It means something to us. It's not just okay, it's something that feels good. It all goes back to boundaries, feeling whether or not we belong, feeling that on a soul level we're sharing our gifts, talents, and abilities, that healing energy of Virgo, the daily life of Virgo, working that out with the 3Ds, disputes, debts, okay, and diseases, how we're balancing our health with regard to living according to this soul wisdom. This full moon is coming to a climax. And emotionally, downloading that through the filter of Libra energy is bringing us right into how we're connecting with one another. I want to let you know that as we move forward with these readings, I'm going directly to the cards, to the signs and symbols. But that doesn't mean that the specifics and the astrology is any less important. These introductions are still quite important. However, I want you to know spiral spectrum is the hippest ephemeris on the planet, according to the Western astrology. But it's very colorful, and it allows you to go through each sign, through each cycle, through each transit that occurs in a way that is understanding to you and for you. As you can see, for the year 2019, I collaborated in creating the lunar phase of the definitions, the lunar portion of the definitions. And as you see here with the definition of Virgo, and for the definition of Libra. And so these are the energies that we're working with. These are the energies that we are bringing to the fore. If you're interested in learning more about how to work with the lunar energies, check out the link below. To purchase the calendar, simply go to greatmotherspeaks.info and scroll down to where you see the cosmic calendar to get your copy for this exciting remainder of 2019. As we continue with this year, Great Mother, Father God will continue to activate this emerging cycle into releasing our old structures around our mother, around nurturing, around compassion, around feeling understood and feeling cared for. There's a restructuring of how this is working. And July 2nd, the total solar eclipse, and we're going to have another eclipse at the end of the year in December. These energies are going to really nourish what you're planting during this illustrious season of Virgo Libra. It's coming to climax, and so it's not necessarily seeding an intention in terms of a wish, but it's seeding conscious awareness of what you have downloaded thus far, so that the next full moon, as we move into that Aries new moon, you can culminate your wishes in a way that is respective to what you know. Now, for your Virgo Libra full moon readings. Hello, Leo Virgo moon sign people. I have a real sense that whoever's watching this right now, you have got a certain level of MDT mastery that you may or may not be aware of. So much so that this full moon, you are actually either deciding consciously, if you're aware of it, to go into your own coaching work or helping someone on some level to heal their MDT, or unconsciously you are becoming your own guru through this process. And I would be interested to hear from you if this was describing to you, because this is a very strong sense that I'm getting with this second house energy. This is in relationship to your moon sign, where this full moon is. Your moon sign, Leo, Virgo. Leo in the sidereal is your soul sign, most of you. Some of you will be Virgo in both the Vedic and in the Western, but most of us, because it proceeds by 24 degrees, there is that differentiation between the zodiac, and your soul sign is ruled by the sun, and right now the sun is in your 8th house. And so it's a super moon, and this light that's being reflected is a very powerfully transformative light. And so secrets, if it's unconscious, it's going to come up. Your inheritance, your gifts, your abilities are coming up. This definitely has to do with your life as a teacher, as someone who's learning. Maybe you are becoming more aware that this is something that you want to learn as well, because Uranus is in your 9th house. But that's over the next 6 years. Uranus is finally stationed in your emotional and intuitive 6th house, from 9th house from the moon. And so a lot in the wisdom area around mothers, around sharing this wisdom with others going on with you. And Great Mother is saying that for this full moon, inner work that she recommends is telling yourself the truth about how you're feeling about this awareness. So being honest with yourself is what integrity is. Usually integrity is used interchangeably with telling the truth, being honest. No, integrity is being honest with ourselves. And so Great Mother wants you to be very truthful with yourself. This is the card that's all about the eternal grace and mercy of that integrity. We are judged not by what we say and what we do, but what really in our hearts, okay? And that's kind of contradictory, because our divinity says that we are dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. And so there's no judgment, but it's judgment in the sense of consequences, karma for those actions. There are consequences for our actions is really the meaning of that. And so actions that we make, we want to be sure that they're in alignment with our integrity, because our integrity, even when we judge it, is just where we are. And working with where you are right now with regard to your mama drama, trauma, and how you truly feel is a place and a space. Great Mother's wanting you to know this full moon, this super full moon with the sun in your 8th house and the moon in your 2nd, your house of values, your house of what matters to you, what you consume that feeds you, that maternal energy, that father energy of rebirth right now, specifically for you, is all about feeling safe enough to be truthful with yourself about where you are in your healing process of letting go of the mother that you want in order to accept the one that you have. Telling yourself the truth about that. And many, again, I have a sense you are way past that point of acknowledgement And of course, A is the acknowledged suit, and I is the integrity suit. In the word aspire, we do aspire to live in loving detachment from that MDT identity to embrace our divinity. So that's a lot to say that what's coming up for you is the E, emancipation, which is you are sensing a sense of freedom, a sense of that rejuvenation that comes from embracing your personal truth of eternal grace and mercy as a divine child. And what's bringing the need to be truthful with yourself up is the realization and the acceptance that you're free. You're free to be where you are right now. It's a very fertile ground for those of you who are transitioning from the guilt, blame, and shame of MDT into divinity identity. And for those of you who have done that, to really begin to share this message with others and really begin to help them to heal from it. Because what's in your shadow position is the need to take responsibility for this wisdom. Mave, of course, is that, Gaelic goddess who is literally takes the bull by the horns in one of her fables, but in another, it's really about her and her husband fighting over a prized bull and her killing his bull, to have the most powerful bull. And what does the bull represent? Bull represents primal mother energy. And so regardless of where we are, that might not be the greatest sounding story, speaking of judgment, but that's where she was in her journey of connecting with her inner power. And so Great Mother wants you to take responsibility for where you are in connecting with that internal power on that gut level. What is your truth there? Don't be ashamed of it. This is the beginning of the Yellow Brick Road journey in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. That's when Dorothy and the Munchkins were follow the Yellow Brick Road. This is your journey. Take it. Do you, be you. You need to heal. And that's that Yellow Brick Road, the gut chakra. And my gut is just growling as I'm speaking to you. I don't know why I'm not really hungry, but it's an exclamation point, isn't it? With regard to trusting your gut, because integrity is heart chakra energy. And in order for us to be truthful with ourselves, we do have to be in touch with really our gut feelings about things. Now, what you want in this process is to truly acknowledge that the feelings of rejection and neglect that you have made you feel alienated and estranged from Great Mother. You want to reground yourself in the reality that I am alone without my mother. I feel that even if she's physically present, that I'm alienated from her, and that makes me feel disconnected from Great Mother when I am not in my integrity. And the truth is, I am at a place where I can accept Great Mother. And so what you want to do is you want to be in that space of owning that feeling of being an orphan, just as Dorothy is in this picture holding Toto. Toto represents our intuition in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck. And so she's holding him there, and you have her in the other picture in the deck when she's holding him when she finally returns home. And so you're holding on to your intuition. You're holding on to that still small voice of the Holy Spirit of the Comforter. You're holding on to that as what you need to heal. That's what you're feeling in your body, and what you know when you're around your mother is your connection with your truth, in your true identity of divinity. That's what you're wanting. You're wanting to be in real time with the reality of MDT and your divinity. So that lets me know that many of you right now are in this process. You're kind of on both ends of this. And those of you who are in the middle are ready to transition further into your divinity by way of purification. The purification card is in the position of the energies that are assisting you with this reality check of holding on to your integrity and with taking responsibility for your journey. This is heart chakra energy. Again, that crossroads between the ego and the soul, that crossroads of, rather, the ego and the soul is purifying your integrity, purifying your sense of personal truth so that you can take responsibility in ways that feel freeing to you, that feel joyful to you, that feel exuberant to you, that lighten you up, that unblock your chakras and open that heart chakra. Coventina is that purification, that waxing gibbous moon energy that revises and refines us, that purifies our emotional state, and particularly our intuitive state being the crossroads of. The heart chakra is ruled by Venus, which rules Libra and Virgo. So even though the Western new full moon sign is in Libra and the Western moon sign for you is Virgo, Taurus is where Mars is in the Vedic. When we're talking chakra, we're talking Vedic. Mars is in Taurus right now. So there's a real pull to purify right now. You're getting a real pull to purify in your 10th house with your life purpose moving forward. And that life purpose really having to do with owning the fact that you have a lot of wisdom about this issue, and that is where the key is to your life beyond MDT, is owning that, is what Great Mother is saying this full moon for you. Now, your present status of your ego soul alignment is the Akhenaten card, the law of mystery and divine order. It's a mystery. You don't know maybe even what I'm talking about. You really probably haven't consciously assessed these things, which is why these are Great Mother Speaks readings, speaking to that inner space to make us more conscious of it, to connect with it. And this yang energy, though, this Martian energy in your 10th house is saying, though, that you have had some indications that your life purpose is changing, simply because Mars is in your 10th house. Root chakra energy is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in the South Node right now, conjunct Sagittarius Capricorn in your 5th house. So there's a releasing of what you and how you have been creating your life in the past as it relates to how you associate with others. Your 11th house is North Node or Rahu energy. So you are associated with others in new ways, and maybe that is the teaching way, and maybe that is the student way. Regardless, it's a way that you haven't done in the past. That's mystery. And that's the divine order of being in touch with our intuition. That is the way of taking responsibility for trusting our integrity and living by our integrity, living by telling ourselves the truth about where we are. And speaking of Mercury, this download power that you have with these two balsamic moon cards, the I and the E of aspiring to live in loving detachment from the mother we want, to accept the one that we have. Mercury retrograde is a powerful downloading period, and that's why communications get tripped up, is because we are unconsciously doing what we do with these readings. We are unconsciously taking a beat to think about things unconsciously before we act, and that beat creates a frequency gap in the physical world. And so that's how accidents happen. That's how we make mistakes in contracts, because we don't read things right the way we normally would read a contract without that retrograde, which is about rethinking, reevaluating. But we do it in a matter of milliseconds, and it's a different timing. This is working for you with regard to these downloads of freedom and integrity, because Mercury right now is in your 8th house conjunct the sun. And so you are reflecting on how this transformation is occurring in your life, and these secrets or unconscious revelations are going to manifest for you, will become more clear as Mercury begins its journey into April, as it becomes direct. Why your soul wants to do this work, Leo, Virgo, moon sign people, is because it wants you to experience the justice. It wants you to experience and it wants to experience through you, as you, the reward without expectation. But whatever the universe has for it as its gift for this journey, it wants to receive it. It wants the karma for that. You know, there is karma for us remaining in our integrity. There is karma for us taking responsibility. And we call those blessings. And so the blessings of the justice of following that intuition, of trusting that Toto along our journey as it barks and as it preens and supports us, is to make a decision to face this challenge of doing the inner work of telling yourself the truth. It wants to do it so that it can receive those blessings. Now, how it wants to receive those blessings is in a way that will let go of things that no longer serve it. And for that not to be painful, but for it to be a joyful process. And so going into nature, being fed by the oxygen, being fed by the warmth of the sun, being fed by just breathing the cool air. If you're in a cool environment, that's Pachamama energy. That's root chakra energy. That's that Saturn and the South Node in your 5th house, releasing ways that you have created space in the past for you to deal with MDT, and now assisting others to do it. It's requiring you to let go of how you were approaching MDT and owning that divinity. It has to do with you allowing yourself the opportunity to benefit from Jupiter in your 4th house right now. And that's what's making all of this so powerful, is the 4th house is the house of the mother. It is the house of feeling at home, of belonging, of boundaries. And these maternal issues are huge for you since November until November of this year. And the blessing for being in your truth about the reality of your MDT is that ultimately this full moon is showing you how to reground yourself through self-care, self-love, leaving bad situations. So whether they're relationships that are like your mother's, or establishing emotional boundaries with your mother, and specifically assisting others to do so with their mothers, or with their children, talking to people, owning the power of Jupiter in your 1st house, connecting with people in ways that supports you professionally. Some of you are astrologers and are coaches as well, and speaking this knowledge, this awareness to people when you know that they need to hear it is what I'm getting. This is part of the integrity that I'm picking up. And for doing this, the likely outcome for this work is that you're going to be owning your beauty. That's the blessing of doing this work. There's a beauty that you are nurturing and that you're cultivating as a result of doing this work. And it's time to own it. It's time to own it. Leo, Virgo, moon sign people. Virgo is the perennial virgin of the cosmos, the perennial daughter, young woman energy that is wanting to shine its beauty and its grace onto the world. And that's where you are right now with this MDT. For some of you, that might seem to be a little far-fetched. And to you, I would just simply remind you that there's a great deal of support in your purification process right now, and to be open to it, even if there is a great deal of mystery. This journey is a part of the divine order of your cosmic calculus. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, liking, and bearing with my growling gut that's really focusing on this yellow brick road to take responsibility for owning your beauty. But that is your bringing that broom back to Oz, that phallic symbol, that power, and saying, hey, I've done it. I'm working on it, and I can help you. I can share with you from whatever place within me how this healing of letting go of the mother that we want to accept the one we have has brought beauty and growth into my life, and how I can do the same for you. Thank you so much for honoring me with your presence and liking, sharing, but above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.